Hi everybody, welcome to the last and final session. So I'm between you and home, so let's make that as easygoing as possible. And I don't know how I'm going to be seen by you behind this monstrous equipment. So I'm Daniel, and I'm running NewsGator, and I am excited about social for the last 10 years. I joined NewsGator just 3 months ago, so pardon if I don't know every detail, but I have done this for many, many years. And the one thing that strikes me the most is how much that is changing our life, how much that is really making the way we work different. And I'm trying to give you a little insight into what it has done for us over the last years, what it has done to our clients, and I would like to give you a little outlook what it's going to do to you, your business, and to all of us in the future. There will be enough time at the end to ask questions, any question you want, so feel free to reach out. We have the team here, so we have our CTO here, and we have our head of marketing here, so depending on what kind of answer you want, we have the right people here. You want the truth or you want the polished truth? Both is available to you. I have 3 major topics I want to talk to you about today. One is enterprise social. What we do is enterprise class social. So this is something you need to really understand, because we don't do anything else. That's what we really care for. Our clients are in the thousands and thousands of people using the product, some even in the hundreds of thousands of people, and so we need to take this into consideration. I want to talk a little bit about the power of social and what it does to you, what it happens in your brain and why this is taking off, because this is not about technology. And then finally, I want to give you a sneak peek into social business solutions and how this is making your work and your life and your company better. You have the better people have more fun, they're more productive, you make more money, more of the money stays in the profitability line of your company. So this is all about business at the end. But before we go there, to understand what we do, it's all about enterprise social. And let me peek here. We are at the SharePoint conference, so who of you is not using SharePoint? Wonderful. So who of you is on the 2010 product SharePoint? Cool. Who of you is on the step into 2013? Anybody active already? Cool. Very nice. Very nice. Love you guys. You do the same thing? So I'm going to share a little bit how this is also working in connection with SharePoint, because that's the foundation of what we build many of our stuff. So all of you have kind of a platform, which is SharePoint. SharePoint gives you an amazing opportunity to collaborate, to have access to content. So people and content living in SharePoint. And we recognized that many, many years ago when we had to make a decision what ecosystem we're going to support. And for us, the question is, where are you working? And then we bring social to you. Because we don't believe that you need another system, you need another environment that you need to maintain. What you want is, you want your current environment to get better and better. And we decided many years that it's going to be SharePoint, and as you can see from the outcome from this event, it was a smart decision at that time. And what we do is, we're taking this and tying it to the business and build some enterprise engagement capabilities into it. So innovation management, expert finding, all those things you need to do to get people excited about the environment, that's what we do. So when you're looking at how many of you have social as a capability or as a strategic initiative in your company? Who has a different problem than adoption? Exactly. It is all about adoption. And so what we care for is all about how we can drive adoption to make everybody participate in that. So enterprise engagement is a lot about adoption, but it also has to do tying it to things that people do intuitively, naturally every day. So you don't have to force them or lure them somewhere, but they do it because that's their job and they like to do that. Because at the end, people want to get the job done. But we're taking it an entire step further. We're looking at the business value we can drive out of social. Field enablement, innovation management, having case management being socially empowered so people can collaborate around stuff. So this is really what drives it. And so you see a little bit of an icons down there, what we integrate. We kind of take it for granted that that's what you do, that you integrate with SAP, and that you integrate with SharePoint, and that you integrate with Salesforce, that you integrate with Oracle, that you integrate with LinkedIn. But somehow that is not what everybody does. But that's the power when you're working with a great partner like Microsoft, and it's the power when you're taking an ecosystem approach, because you're tying it to all the environments that are existing in your company. So I would love to talk to you more about in detail how we do this, but just as a little intro. So this is my personal workspace. Well, not my personal, this is actually Janae's personal workspace, and she's in our marketing team. And what you can see here is we're taking the entire social experience and allow you to make it all human-centric. It is all about you. You can configure the system the way you want, you can work the way you want, and it's all about you. And in this particular case, we have been preparing for this event. So you see on the right side, there is a marketing stream which is dedicated just to marketing. And this is one of the takeaways when we're talking about adoption. It is not just about a fire hose of information going through your company as a stream and having everybody see everything. It is the right balance. There are people in sales that want to know everything. And there are people in R&D, they have 3 people they work with and they care for nothing else. So you need to cater to those. And that is how we designed the thing from the ground up. It is all human-centric. It is all about getting the people to love to work with that. But we're taking it one step further. We have internally this mantra of mobile first. We know not everybody is there yet, but we know everybody is going to be there. So iPhone apps, Android apps, HTML5 apps. We even have a BlackBerry app. So it's kind of counterintuitive, a BlackBerry social, but we did it. And there are some users out there that love it. Of course, we have a Windows 8 app available now. So if you have some time, talk to us later. It is there. It's not just a nice picture. It is actually working. So really proud about that. But we're taking it even further. And this is something, when you're talking about adoption, you have 2 ways of driving that. You can say, come to my social environment, or I bring the social environment to you. And we took the second approach. We said, listen, there is an activity stream, wonderful. But if people love to work in Outlook, let them work in Outlook. You can work in Outlook every day, never see an activity stream, and participate in every conversation. And you would not believe, Brian and I have a long conversation about it every day. Brian is our CTO, and he works in Outlook. I think he is kind of the inventor of Outlook because he is almost hostile to everybody who does not use email. So we're having this fun debate every day. But he is the most social active, person in our company. There is not a single post where you cannot get a reply from him within hours. And that's wonderful. A thing we're experimenting with, which is what we show here at the event, is the universal notification. And I would love to get your feedback on that because this is something you can plug into any environment you want. Let's say you have a Lotus Notes environment, plug it in there, notification bar. You can do SharePoint, social, and sneak them slowly in, and then you replace that over time. But the real idea there is if you have an intranet, and you got your people to use the intranet after years and years and years of hard work, and now you go in and saying, oh, wait a minute, we do social now. Why don't we merge this all? Start with a universal notification in your intranet and slowly get them used to the activity stream concept, and then you're getting even the executives to participate. Because there's another thing take away from here is if you're trying to build this and you don't have executive support, it's not going to work. So I gave presentation in boardrooms for the last 6 years, and it's not that they don't want. They're scared because they don't know what to do with the whole thing. If you give them an opportunity to participate slowly, step by step, they're going to get it because they want you to be more productive. And of course, analytics. So analytics is kind of a counterintuitive topic when we talk about human-centric, right? Because it's numbers and statistics and tables and databases. But what it does is You need to have a personalized experience. You need to have people see stuff that's relevant to them. And the only way to do this is by having a rock-solid analytics capability built into your product. If you don't have that, you're not able to surface information to them. And when I say analytics, I mean analytics across your company. That's why I like the ecosystem play. If you're not doing this across your company, you're going to have a tiny little window where you're doing your analytics on, and you're only going to see the stuff from the early adopters who are going to post a lot of stuff. And so you get the impression that the only thing people do in your company is posting pictures and talking about weekends. That is because you're analyzing a tiny little subset. So you need to analyze the whole thing, check in, check outs, and document everything that's happening in the organization. So I hope you get an understanding from where we come from. And I'm setting the stage with that so you really understand why we're doing this, the things in the way we do this here. We have a wonderful product with a lot of features, and I could give you an hour and an hour and another hour of pitch how great this product is. But effectively what we do is we're taking wonderful social capabilities and tie them into social business capabilities that make sense for your business. And that's how you should approach that. Regardless what product you take, regardless what your social goals are, make sure that you wrap the capabilities into something that the people already know. If they're in sales, make it relevant to sales. If they're in R&D, make it relevant to R&D. If you don't do this, it's going to be another artificial environment for them where they need to go to, and they do this because you tell them, but you need to get them excited that it makes sense for their work. So with this, I hope I gave you enough marketing and enough talk about our product. Let's leave this behind and talk about the real power of social. Social brings you one thing, and one thing only. You're allowed to be a human being again. Maybe you don't see this yet. Maybe it is early in your company. Maybe it is early for you personally. But what we do is we allow you to be a person in a digital world. You have the same kind of interaction that you have face-to-face. If we meet for coffee, and I make a stupid comment, and I'm smiling, you're not going to take that as serious as it might sound. But if you're sending an SD email and send it off, somebody goes ballistic, and then the whole shitstorm starts. And exactly, didn't mean that, of course I didn't mean that, you didn't mean this, but you said it, and you CC'd my boss, and there's no way you can take this back. Wouldn't it be great if we can have this, like, you suck in a friendly way? When they get it, but there's no way to complain, They get the message, and that's all we need. So social is not a straight line. Social is very simple. You're expressing emotions, and you're able to recognize emotions. And I know not everybody thinks that way, but it is all about emotions. When you're looking, we did a lot of research. So I did this 15 years when we called it knowledge management. I did 10 years when we called it collaboration. I did 5 years when we started to call it Enterprise 2.0, and I do it today when we call it social. It is all about how you're getting a little bit better in what you do and know a little bit more. So people only learn if they have an emotional attachment to the item that they should learn. So if you see something and this is exciting, you will remember that, right? If I fall off stage here, you're going to remember this presentation, right? I mean, maybe it's not exciting to me, but it's going to be exciting to you to talk about, right? So this is really, really important. If you don't have emotions, we're not going to get any benefits. We're not going to progress. And believe me, if we don't do this, we're going to be out of business in no time. Because by the level of workforce expenses we have, we need to be more productive. Everything we do today can be outsourced. Can be outsourced to countries that have different salary levels. So we need to be more productive, everybody, individually and collectively. So when you're looking at the whole thing, if you're building your environment and you're trying to make the thing social, try one thing. How can I smile digitally, and how can I read a face digitally? That's the thing you need to have in mind. If you get this done, maybe not 100%, but if you get this kind of feeling done, you're good. Adoption will happen, period. That's the only thing you need. So you can have this 100-page guru script somebody wrote to you, a super exciting guru in a consulting firm, and you read all of that, and you hear all of that. ask them, so how do I smile digitally? How do I express my feelings? And if they have an answer, then it's a really good firm. And I've been working with a lot of people in this industry, and there are some really, really good people out there who really get that. Talk to them. Enjoy the conversations with them, okay? That's really what it is. It is all about how expressing an emotion and how I can recognize that. So, you want to close a deal? And you want to get your service department to help you to close that deal? There is no way a service consultant that works 16 hours is going to help you unless you make this person smile. So it's really coming down to very pragmatic things. So, everybody loves statistics, okay? You need to go back to your boss and saying, I want $100,000. Why? How do I get $100,000? This is one statistic for you. If you ask people if they're happy with their job, they're going to say yes. The majority of people are going to say yes. If you ask them if they love their job, majority of people say no. What's interesting is those that love their job, that are really engaged, are much more productive. They have a 200% higher likelihood to share something that makes the company better. So innovation is spiking among this small group of people. Well, if you talk to your CFO about innovation, and he's going to say, I don't care, give me numbers, money. Well, 41% less sick days. Maybe that helps. So people that love their job, that are engaged, well, I don't know if they don't get sick or they just don't take days off, but the fact is 41% less sick days. So by just giving them this wonderful environment in which they can prosper and enjoy work and have some emotional attachment to their work is leading to productivity. You don't need anything else. But the thing is, emotions are the key to human productivity. There is no other way. We can talk about technology as long as we want. If you don't get people to like it, nothing's going to happen. We know this from the last 30 years. So let's apply that. But I know you're going to say, well, Daniel on stage, he's going to tell you that, and the next time I want to get this done, he's not coming to my company and going to implement that. He's not going to talk to my CEO and going to help with that. But why don't we let somebody talk about it that has done it? So why don't let one of our customers come on stage? So Megan, why don't you come on stage and share a bit about Overstock and how you took social and make it a reality in your company and how it led to innovation. So welcome, Megan. Little applause to her.
You guys hear me? Great. Well, I'm Megan Tuig, and I am the Director of Collaborative Systems at Overstock.com. We have about anywhere between 1,300 to 1,500 associates at the company. And to give you a little background about why we decided we needed social in our organization, for the 13 years that Overstock has been in existence, we have something called stand-ups, and they're done quarterly. And on a quarterly basis, the executives get in front of all of the associates. They put them all in one room. There's overflow into the stairwells in the foyer. We might be out by the picnic tables. But during these stand-ups, the executives talk about the highs, they talk about the lows, how we're going to move forward in the upcoming quarter, and then they open it up for comments and questions. And every stand-up, we get so many ideas and so many comments, so many good questions. And unfortunately, that conversation has to end when the meeting is over. So our executives realized that, they needed sort of a formal way to capture these great ideas. No longer could they be just, hidden under piles of papers on a manager's desk or just lost in the busy day of work life. So we decided to go with SharePoint, and we now have an official way to capture those innovative thoughts. And we carry on that conversation so that it doesn't just take place 4 times a year, but it takes place daily, all throughout the day. So it's really transformed our organization and how we work. Not only are we more productive and more innovative, more efficient, but it's also just it's really fostered this vibrant, collaborative culture at Overstock. So it's been priceless for us going social.
Thank you. Maybe share a bit about what we heard earlier with the adoption. So what, how many people using the system? Maybe, what's the adoption? How many daily, participants do you have?
Yeah, so on a daily basis, we have 40% of our workforce, and that's 1,500 employees, coming to our communities, which are our social side of SharePoint.
Well,
yeah.
And maybe share a bit, is this innovation part just, down in the field? Is it, how are executives participating in that?
Yeah, so we do use IdeaStream, actually, which is one of the products that NewsGator uses. And so associates are able to go in, post their ideas, collaborate upon them, vote them up, and, have a good discussion about these ideas. And what's interesting, and something that's really worked for our organization, is every month we pull all of the ideas that have come into the system, and our executives review them. And we actually have an innovators lunch with the president of the company, where he sits with every associate that's put in a great idea into the system. And it's wonderful because, folks in customer service who never get to meet the executive team members are getting to sit with them at lunch, and it means a lot. There's a lot of, a big intrinsic reward for our associates to participate. And I think that's really helped with our adoption.
So when you're looking at working with us for such a long time, any hiccups, how did we deal? Share a little bit of the reality, how those things work.
Sure. So I will be honest and say that there have been hiccups working with NewsGator, but as to be expected. It was our first time. We're brand new with SharePoint starting in 2010, and there were a few hiccups with some of the installations, but we've ironed those out. And what's really interesting to me is in a field and in a space where it's all about communication, it always surprises me how many of our potential partners are terrible at communicating. And that's one thing that we've really loved with NewsGator, is that they're very responsive and address any issues immediately. And they're very pleasant people. They're just great people. They're
Didn't we
good to work
rehearse
with.
this really nice?
Yeah.
Wonderful, right? No, we had this conversation yesterday and said, so, how did it go? And she said, not talk about that. It was nasty. I said, well, talk about that. IT is nasty sometimes, but we got it done. So could you remember a time before you worked social? Do you still know how this was before?
I actually get people coming up to me now in the office, and they say, I had no idea what this was when you first launched it. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. And she said, now I don't know how we got anything done without it. So I hear those little anecdotal, testimonials, and it makes me very pleased to come to work every day.
Wonderful. Thanks, Megan. And she's available for a question later, so you can get a real customer's feedback. You don't have to listen to me. You can talk to somebody who went through the pain and the joy of making social a reality in her company. Thanks, Megan. So a little insight how we're dealing with customers. Every customer we have is part of our extranet where we're working together. So when we're introducing a new feature, we're not saying, hey, this is something new. We're going to say, hey, what do you like to do? And then we have a conversation. And you have voting. You have the right to participate in building our roadmap. So it's a very interesting experience when you're talking to hundreds and hundreds of people and you have an idea and you come up with the idea and how the idea is shaping through the process of getting it final and implemented. So innovation is one of the fields where you really gain a lot. It is a place where social is having a huge impact. But it's something where you really also need to pay attention because the people that are doing that are not used to structure. It is an idea is cooking, you have a couple of conversations, a coffee, you reject the idea, it comes back. And so that is something where we paid a lot of attention to. And we actually made it an entire solution because we realized that horizontal social is not doing it. For innovation, you need to have something that is more wrapped around the ideas and the type of people that participate in innovation. So another big topic is pride. So never underestimate the ego of individuals. And it has this slightly negative touch sometimes, but you're not getting anything done if the people don't believe in that and go above and beyond. So when you're looking at why people leaving a company, 2/3 of them going to tell you they don't feel appreciated here. And the most of them, the ones who stay and the ones who leave, they're going to tell you that they prefer recognition over money. You can only pay to a certain extent. If you don't recognize achievement, if you don't give them a hug once in a while, then they're not going to stay. So in the old days, the boss was working through the factory hall and having everybody shake hands, saying, how the kids doing, how's your oldest, dropping out of school. This kind of conversation we had in the old days. But nowadays, we're global companies, right? I mean, just us, we are, in 3 continents active with our team. There's no way I can walk around and clap everybody on the back and saying, wonderful, done. So we need to have this provided digitally. And pride is a major, major driver for performance. So how do we get this kind of sensitive topic of recognition and identity into a digital world? So you would say maybe profiles. Yeah, good start. Everybody of us updates their LinkedIn profile. We're heading our business cards today. We go back home, we connect everybody LinkedIn, and we throw away the paper, right? Do you still keep the paper? No, we don't. And now what we do is we make it really looking nice, right? We have every line in the LinkedIn profile be polished. We have every recognition, we even have people recommending us there. But now how we get this more personal? How do we make it more human? How do we make it feel right? So we have customers that do things in a conventional way, and we have Oakley. So I'm not even trying to explain to you how that works. So Scott, why don't you share your view how this all works? So applause to Scott from Oakley. Did you turn it on?
This is where they're supposed to be playing my theme song right now. All right. Now can you hear me? Welcome to the stage. He's not working for tips. So we don't use it for collaboration at all. I'll kind of paint the picture for you guys. So 2009, 2010, our leadership team was kind of feeling this squeeze in our culture. We have a saying around the building that culture is brand, brand is culture. So the way we're able to deliver such cool, badass shit to our consumers is basically by living and breathing it. We're all working there because we're customers and we love the brand before we even started working there. So 2007, we were purchased by Luxottica, which is a large eyewear conglomerate. We were growing super rapidly around different geographies, new kinds of customers, and just in sheer volume of employees. So kind of paint a picture, in the last 5 years, over 50% of our employees are new. So there was kind of this old guard that was feeling this uneasiness of how the culture could be shifting. So we found some really smart dudes in San Francisco, and they were kind of like a brand therapist. They worked us through developing company values. We had never had company values before. So this was something we always said we'd never put on paper who we were, but as we were growing and interacting with new people, we discovered we needed to do it. So one of the tactics they wanted to develop was an internal social network that tied back to the brand. I'm probably going to die on the stake for saying this here, but we had a SharePoint before, and I hated it. I didn't want anything to do with SharePoint. And so we started kind of figuring out how we could do it. And then I met with a guy in our internal group. He's like, no, give it a try. I started playing with it. I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty damn cool. From there, I started researching a little bit more on how we could do it, saw that there were some social aspects, reached out to an agency / developer / whatever you want to call, good friend, Synergy, showed them what I wanted to do. That little schematic drawing napkin, looks like a 5-year-old did it 2 slides ago, was from me. James from Synergy kept saying to me, what do you want to do? I I said, well, I want a social network. Well, how do you want to do it? I don't know, make this. And that's what I gave him. So from there, gave him 11 weeks to do it. We built it. We launched it in January. We rolled it out. We actually flew all 5,000 people to our headquarters in Foothill Ranch, rolled out these values, and at the end of the values presentation, I spent 10, 15 minutes going over the site, followed by an email saying, hey, come play on it. And what we did is you can actually hashtag to all these values, and they live into a community feed. So it's kind of become like our culture Wikipedia. So when we have people that come on board that might not completely understand who we are, before the old way was basically you spent 6 months there, and if you survived, then you understood the culture. A lot of people didn't survive. A lot of alcohol involved too. But so I'll show them the site, and I'll say, you can try and understand who we are and how we do, why we do what we do, or you can go here and read some of the stuff that people are posting. So there's a few things that have been really, really successful in it. We have a sports marketing team, and basically their job is there's a guy tied to each one of the sports we're active in, and they've adopted mobile like instantly. So they'll be behind someone who's teeing off or about to drop into the half pipe, posting it to the feed, and our employees are getting to see the juice before anyone gets to see it on ESPN. Same with, we have a field marketing team that has done it. So it's really, here and there we'll have some people that just kind of put some random shit like I, had Chinese food for lunch. But it's kind of self-correcting, and it always ties back to the brand. That's where we're at.
Thank you. Maybe you can share a little bit about how this is tying to, as I asked Megan, the executive adoption and the executive participation, and how much evangelism you had to do to get to the stage where you are right now.
So when I was in my interview to get hired there about 4.5 years ago, in the interview they told me I would be doing internal communications, and I had never done that, and I didn't even know it was part of the job description. My team handles internal and external, and I said, well, wouldn't it be cool if we did an internal social network? They're like, what? What is that? All right. So 1.5 years ago, CEO comes up to me, he's like, I think we should do an internal social network. That's a great idea. So really having their back on it has been huge. We're a really flat organization, though. We don't even use the word exec. You can talk to these guys, walk into their offices very easily. They're out snowboarding with us on the weekends. But at the same time, our SVP of marketing and our CEO are on it diligently. I mean, they will answer any kind of question. We actually, I don't know if you guys, well, you all know, we had to let Lance Armstrong go because of everything that happened. And we actually broke the news to the employees on our feed. Came straight from our SVP of marketing, and the comments he got back were amazing. And it was, thank you for telling us this. This is, we feel kind of like this is really personal. We didn't have to read about it in the newspaper today. And it kind of added a little more of that human touch.
Cool. And we talked about this yesterday, how you started your view on, recognition by, for example, badging, and how you came from, I don't know, to, wow, that's great.
Yeah, so, and kind of the development and planning process and how we were going to launch this, Synergy suggested doing badging, and I didn't think it would fly with us. I didn't really, why, who cares? It's a little badge. But I was wrong. I was way wrong. So we do 3 major kinds of badges. So we do 10 years, see the amount of time of people have been there. So there's always a stream of kudos after they get it, 25 years. I mean, the longest employee we have has been 27 years. And he gets a badge, and you just see a stream of, all these old school stories of, oh, I remember when we did this together. The other big one is participation. So we do a bronze, silver, and gold. So we built a little matrix on how they're interacting with the feed. They'll get a badge based off of that. And this one's been really interesting because some of the people that sit around us in our building don't know what we do and that we run the site. So I can hear people like an aisle over cursing, we call our site the engine room, cursing the engine room because they've done everything they can to get their bronze badge. And then once they find out what I do, they come over and try to bribe me. Hey, I'll give you 15 pairs of glasses if you give me my badge. Not completely above bribes. And the third one we do is more project-based. So we had about 150 employees that were really active in our Olympic planning and implementation. Whenever someone's on a project team that works on a specific piece of eyewear, we'll build badges around it. We're doing Movember right now, so we have a Movember badge. But it's just kind of funny how it's become this feel-good, people are excited to get it and bummed when they don't.
Well, thank you, Scott. And if you want to learn more after the session, but be prepared, it's Scott. So. I was actually a little bit disappointed when he showed up in long, jeans and a real shirt. Yesterday he came with shorts and just a T-shirt, and I thought, this is different. So by the way, this guy here, when you're looking at his jacket, he has also stickers on his jacket. I posted 25 things on the social network. This badging thing, many of you ask us this question, and it is not about showing a little bit of activity level next to your profile in the social networks. It is about giving you a personality. It is about your identity and the kind of badges you get. So you see this little one with the red stapler there. I don't know if you know the movie Office Space, but 5 years with NewsGator, you're getting a real physical red stapler with your name engraved. And people love it. Since we are a global company, you also get a badge. And my personal favorite is the one at the very right side. Every baby that is born while you're employed at NewsGator, you get a badge for. So we have 28 or 29 born babies during the time being with us. I asked whether I get credit for my 3 kids I already have, and they said no. I talked to my wife, so in May we're going to get our own badge. So, you see, there's a lot of motivation to make the... But it goes deeper. I mean, Scott alluded to that. The analytics are important, and identifying the individuals that can help you. So this is not just fun. If you want to get a job done, and you have earned a certain level of time, you want to find that person in your organization that can help you. So the expert finder, the ability to identify who is an expert in your field where you have a question, that is super, super important. So this badging stuff is fun and leads to productivity. And that's what we do all the time. We do this for fun because we love it. Everything you see, we implement internally. But there's a straight tie to a number. And your CFO is going to love the fact that you can tie it back to a number. He may not understand it, but as long as you show the numbers, he's going to support you. And one day he's going to understand that, and he's going to be your biggest advocate. One of our banks we're working, we had, anytime they set up a new community, they need to get legal approval. You can imagine how viral that is going, right? The legal department is the #1 user group that leads all the charts in the product. So I'm telling you, if legal can use it, you can use that, right? There's one thing I'd like to add, and maybe I'm losing some of you right now because we love social. The thing you should remember is we do enterprise class social. We have a totally human-centric approach. So everything we do is enterprise ready, and everything we do is human-centric, because we want to make social a reality. Once we have achieved a little bit of that, we ask ourselves, hey, how can we take this further? How can we take this to the new level? And we said, why don't we build entire business solutions centered around the idea of social? And then we said, no. Let's inject social into every business aspect. Do it the other way around. Let nobody escape. Let no process behind might be a nice claim. The idea is that we're really helping to build a social workplace. And we love that. We have done a lot of that stuff. We had innovation management as a solution, sales enablement as a solution. You find many of that stuff if you're digging. It's wonderful. But we want to take it a step further. So you have a solid ecosystem, okay? Most of you are in SharePoint 2010. You have seen the announcements about SharePoint 2013. You see the other announcement at this event. So the ecosystem is strong. We love that because wonderful stuff there, okay? So how do we take it to the next level? How do we build on that? So let's take some business processes and tie them into it. Let them participate, And then we're building real business solutions, social business solutions, to drive human productivity. So I was about to give a demo, and, internet has not been our friend, this event here. So I can't do this as a demo, but let me show you something that, how is this working here? So this is Olivia. Olivia is here at the event, and she does an amazing job. So she feels it's time to take some time off. I'm so tired after 5 days of hard work. So she goes into her HR portal, and she wants to, get some time off. Not everybody has an HR portal. Some of you have an HR stack of paper to get leave requests, and some of you have an HR email system that says, HR at your company, please give me a day off. Or you have the new knocking on the door kind of mechanism. But she has a portal, and she is actually asking for a day off. So she picks vacation, and she picks the time. And this is live in her SAP system. This is not a portal. This is SAP and a wonderful, nice interface on top of that. So she's tired, after SharePoint conference, and she's asking, hey, I need a day off. So easy done. I know many of you have it more complicated, but either way you're getting into a process system like SAP, once you click that button, what happens is it goes to your boss. And your boss gets an email, he says, I don't know, he walks over, really, you want a day off? We have so many leads, we need to work on them, you can't go. Well, but somehow you convince him. What if we can post this leave request right there where he's working every day? So this is our product, live here, and we have a leave request going right into the activity stream. And he cannot just look at it and saying yes or no. He can ask you, really, you want to go? He can actually check whether the colleagues that are on your team, maybe they want to have vacation on the same day and they want to make sure somebody is in the office on Monday. But so this is tying right back into your operating SAP system and is allowing you to pull information there, execute on that, and boom, you have a vacation day. So, that is SAP. This is leave request. I picked this one because that's easy. We all know we need a vacation after this event, right? We have two reasons. We had booth duty or we had booze duty, depending on, but the thing is we need a day off. But now it's a social event. And what we do is we're not just taking leave requests, you can pull every approval process from SAP and make it a social event. So there's no excuse anymore saying, oh, sorry, social is just, it's a toy. It's just something, to distract from work. It is work. So when you're looking at the ecosystem, we just, in the last 2 minutes, expanded our ecosystem from being, rock stars on the Microsoft world and integrating SAP. And nothing prevents us to integrate Oracle as well. So it's the same mechanism. But now we have business processes from HR, from ERP, from your supply chain management, from CRM. They all participate in your social activity. So you know that we have an integration in Dynamics, right? You don't know that? Well, now you know. And of course, we integrate with Salesforce and Cheddar and everything you have in your company. Everything is integrated. But SAP is unique. That's something we're adding right now. And our customers love that. It is early. We're building the solution together with our customers. So if you're interested to participate in that, let me know. It is something that's really working, but it requires a little bit of attention because, that beast called SAP is not easy to tag into. So making it as easy as the social experience, it takes some time. But we're taking it a step further. We're taking it a whole step further and saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool you're in manufacturing? What's your greatest asset? Engineering. Coming up with kick-ass product is something, we have a wonderful team there. Let's build an engineering solution for your manufacturing teams. Or when you're looking at the professional service environments, field enablement is a nightmare. Those guys are on the road from Monday to Thursday. Officially, they have office day on Friday. They never show up because they're so busy. 16 hours at a client, flying home on airports. Field enablement is going to be fantastic if you're looking at that. We have done this a couple of times now. That's a wonderful way of having social leading to real productivity. And then you would not believe how many banks we have as clients. Citi, JP Morgan, Barclays, you name it. And you know what's fascinating? When I go there and tell about social and say, hey, you know, pride and emotions, and they look at me. And I say, well, you can have your loan approvals being faster. Look at this, that's something. That touches our equity, that touches our margins. Tell me more. So we have a bank that has 2,000 loan officers working on that and collaborating and getting stuff done faster. So not everybody is there. We know that. We know that there are different maturity levels when it comes to social. And we are happy to cater to all of you. When you want to start, we help you to start. If you want to take it to the next level, we encourage you to talk to our customers. They're all talking to each other. Sometimes they're cooking stuff up by themselves. They team up, they corner us and saying, this is what we need. And we work together to do this. And this is the stuff where we're integrating the processes. Now it gets really, really interesting. Because now, the investment you have made in SharePoint, the investment you're making in NewsGator, is going to, you capitalize on that to transform your entire business to become a social workplace. And if you get just a glimpse of that done, you will be amazed. You're going to be upstage somewhere like Oakley or Overstock, and you're going to tell the story. And you're going to tell the story, and you have a big pile of money that you saved over time, or that you made incremental revenues with that. That's what we all want. We want human productivity because that helps us to build great companies, that helps us to get the economy going, and that helps us to just have a better and more exciting time at work. So for us, this is just the beginning. We're just getting started. We have been working with you guys for such a long time. And when you're going into verticals and when you're understanding how markets work, I was having dinner yesterday with friends of ours at Target, and you know, if they have 350,000 people out there in the stores, you know, that's not easy. There are laws they need to follow. You know, they cannot just say, let's be social. That's not working. You really need to understand the industry. And I encourage you, let's work together and understand your industry and do something phenomenal with that. With that, I thank you all for coming. I know lunch is about to be served, and I wanted to give everybody enough time to get lunch and also have enough time for your questions. So if there are any questions, now is a good time. No questions? There's the microphone. If somebody either give it, Janae, could you help with the microphone? Look at this, self-serving.
Thank you for your presentation. Could you elaborate more on what will be the difference between NewsGator and the social functionality that's already in SharePoint 2013?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we take everything that's in SharePoint and we build on that. So we're taking the great capabilities that have been built into SharePoint, and when there is something where we need more, we're extending that. But what we're really doing is we're building entire social business applications on top of that. So SharePoint is the infrastructure. If you need to believe in SharePoint to really make it work. And then we take that, and if there is a capability that may need some time to really be where we want it to be, we invest a little bit to improve that. In the past, we had to invest more. So this time with 13, a lot of the features are at the level we want them to be. So we really like that, and we're building on top of that. So it is really complementary. So you're taking it as a platform, and you're building the solutions on top of that. That's the way it works.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions? I had multiple hands up. I guess that was the question everybody had. So we do not have an integration today with PeopleSoft, but the way we build the integration with SAP is a generic environment. So we can integrate everything that speaks to us. I do not have it today, but it took us 2 days, 3 days to build integration in SAP. Of course, I mean, there's some plumbing we did before, but it took us a few days to get it done. So if you're interested in that, let's have a conversation. I'm pretty sure we get it done fast, but it is not existing today. The question is, do we have it for Office 365, an online version? We absolutely have a cloud version out there. The nasty part is we really need to look at what part of Office 365 you're having. So is it dedicated? Is it a public? So that is the question we need to answer. But yes, that is absolutely. We going to the cloud, and we have it today. We have people have subscription models with us, customers. But the majority of them right now are in this transition period. So we have a lot of hybrid conversation at this point. More questions or just hungry? Well, thanks a lot. I'm here for more questions on a one-on-one basis, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show and you come home safely. And we believe in social, so let's connect socially. Reach out on Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever we want and have a conversation